Okay. We're ready. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to call to order the November 29th meeting of the Facilities Committee. I need an approval of the agenda. Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Burnett, transportation bids.
Happy to say the last 2016 bond project was bid. We've got those bids. We had 5 bidders, which is great participation. Messer Construction provided the low bid. We've got several bid alternates that we're proposing that be accepted. The base bid came in at $13,347,000. We were concerned about the budget, and so we had several deductive bid alternates. Alternate 1 was to delete the equipment shelter, which was $136,000. That is something that ultimately we want, but we are proposing that it be accepted as a deduct and be removed from that contract. Delete light duty asphalt paving was alternate 2 at a deduct of $45,000.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So we are deleting alternate 1.
We're going to accept it, but that's going to pull it out of the contract.
Because on the second page, it says approval of the base bid to include bid alternates 1, 2, 4, and 6.
Correct. So we're trying to lower the price.
Right.
And
So we're not doing alternative 1.
we're going to accept alternate 1, but alternate 1 pulls it out of the contract. It's the double negative.
Pardon? I understand. Okay.
We are proposing that we accept alternate 4, which is proprietary equipment. That's 0 cost. And we're proposing that alternate 6, the bus wash, be accepted, and that is an add of $158,000. That totals $13,324,000. The budget that's available for construction is $12,500,000. What we're asking is that the Facilities Committee ask the Board of Education to ask the county commissioners to receive the contingency funds that the county is holding at $685,266. We'll have a shortfall of $138,734, which we're proposing to reduce the construction contingencies in the project by that amount. That would leave we have remaining contingencies of $298,766, which is a 2.2% contingency.
What are the water lines in 5A and 5B?
So the adjoining property has, and we have a deal, as part of the land acquisition that we would be providing a water line through
To the other
property.
parcels on the same thing, right?
Right. Our water source isn't coming that way. Ours is coming from the city, from another route. But we are obligated to provide a water line. So we wanted the pricing. Now the adjacent property owner is not ready. They don't have tenants, so we cannot construct this water line at this time. If the adjacent property owner gets tenants, then we need to provide the water line, and we have pricing for it. So if it happens in the next several weeks or months, we've got a water line pricing to go by.
And we are also putting in a driveway, right?
Yes.
The whole property.
And we will be using the driveway.
Right.
That's our access to the property. So
if they came to us and asked us, we have to come up with $335,000.
Yes, that's ultimately yes. We need to provide the water line.
Okay.
Any idea when that property owner would be ready?
We've had several discussions with them. I believe that they are actively trying to pursue, developing that property. But at the moment, they don't have anything that's solid. I can't say if it's going to be in the next 6 months or if it's several years out.
Okay.
So one of the things we discussed about this specific issue was how to handle it in future years. So we know it's an obligation that we're going to have to do at some point in time. So you all are likely to see this in the future on a CIP project. And whenever we get to it, we'll get to it.
Okay.
I do think we need to put that into the CIP budget for next year, just so it's a placeholder.
Uh-huh.
I agree. Okay.
So the recommendation is for the Facilities Committee to recommend to the Board of Education to receive the balance of the contingency funds from the county in the amount of $685,266 and add those funds to the transportation construction budget. Second part of the recommendation is the approval of the base bid amount to include bid alternates 1, 2, 4, and 6 as submitted by Messer for the construction of the transportation construction project in the total amount of $13,324,000.
Have we used Messer before?
We have not.
We have not.
Yeah, and that recommendation is contingent upon receiving related funding held by the county. So Messer, we have met with Messer. We've have been aware of Messer for about a year. They're a large firm. They're from the Midwest, and they've been in the Charlotte area for a dozen years, I think. And they have a good reputation, and they're a large firm that's capable of doing this project.
Question with the equipment shelter, is that something we're going to add later?
That's something we want, and yes, we do want to be able to pursue, adding it into the contract. What we are wanting to do is, as we go through the project, we'll see what kind of issues we run into, soil issues, things like that. And if we're in good shape and we don't have to use the contingencies, then we hope to add it back.
Okay.
And that
That's at
would
a
be,
minimum if we put in conduit and stuff we need in the ground for it.
Yeah.
So we have it.
I
Yeah.
agree. We have to add something like that to the CIP project.
and the logistics on it specifically, certainly it would be better to award it today. And for all the sequencing of events that have to occur. But we just are being conservative. And trying to make sure that the project goes nice and smooth and we get everything that we need, and if we can add this in, then we will.
Okay. There's no other questions. I'll take a motion to request to receive the balance of or to recommend to the full board to request to receive the balance of the contingency funds held by the county in the amount of $685,266 for the transportation construction budget, and to recommend to the Board of Education to approve the base bid amount to include bid alternates 1, 2, 4, and 6 as submitted by Messer for the construction of the transportation facility construction project in the total amount of $13,324,000.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that's to full board. Okay. Next, custodial chemicals.
This is a contract. It's actually a no dollar amount contract. What is before you? We're asking that we're able to renew the custodial chemical supply contract with Interstate Solutions out of Rock Hill. We order chemicals several times a year, and we would plan to use the attached pricing sheet. The vendor has to hold the list price or sell below the list price throughout the 5-year term of the contract. For perspective, we've used this firm in the past. Last year, we ordered approximately $247,000 worth of chemicals from them. So again, this is a no dollar contract amount. But we will be issuing purchase orders throughout the year as we make various purchases. Again, last year, I think we made at least a dozen different purchases. So we had a dozen different purchase orders with them.
Did we have a 5-year contract with them in the past?
We had an extended or multi-year contract. I don't know if it was 5 years or not, though. And as far as any concern about the authorization and pre-audit, that would occur with each and every purchase order. So staff is requesting the Facilities Committee recommend to the Board of Education the approval of the 5-year contract with Interstate Solutions for the single source purchasing of custodial chemicals.
So if we didn't have a 5-year contract, did they adjust their pricing in order for us
They
to
could.
go to a 5-year contract?
Well, if we didn't have a 5-year contract in year 3, we may be paying a different amount, a higher amount, but they're going to be held, to the price list for the term of the 5 years. So if inflation, things like that happen,
Okay.
then that pricing could be increased. But since we have the contract, they have to hold the price.
Okay.
Okay, don't have any more questions. I need a motion to recommend to the full board the approval of the 5-year contract with Interstate Solutions for the single source purchasing of custodial chemicals.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
So that's to the full board. CIP transfers.
This item is to cover the cost of desired land purchase. Staff has identified savings from 2015-16 CIP sufficient to cover this purchase plus the anticipated closing costs. It's basically from 24 roofing projects, from savings from 24 roofing projects. It is more than enough funds to cover the anticipated cost. And this item is going to be going to the county commissioners at the December 3rd county commissioner meeting. And that's really, we're just requesting that we be able to use CIP funds for it, as they weren't originally designated for this purpose.
So at the November 8th meeting of the Board of Education in closed session, we approved the purchase of the land and told you guys to find the money for it. So this is the money for it. So if there's no questions, I need a motion to recommend to the Board of Education the approval to use funds from the 15-16 CIP in the total amount of $199,000 for the purchase of the land near Piedmont High, and to pursue approval of that from the county commissioners.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So that's 3-0 to the full board. Okay, Dave, on to information, Indian Trail Elementary.
Again, this item is for information. We have a nice opportunity or situation where a group, it's the Indian Trail Arts and Historical Society, I'll just call them the society. Oh, by the way, this organization is not affiliated with the town of Indian Trail. It's not a government department. But they want to recognize and memorialize a former principal. His name is George Miller, and he was the principal of Indian Trail approximately 35 years ago. What they want to do is to erect a sculpture. Got details of the sculpture. It's a large sculpture, and Mr. Strickland has a sketch of what they're proposing to erect on the campus of Indian Trail Elementary School. We've met with the folks. Again, a well-intentioned group. Yeah. So the sculpture is intended to be a waving hand. And it's a large sculpture. The hand itself, if I remember, is 6 feet high. The base is 4 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot. So we're talking about something that's, I think it's a total of 11 feet high.
It's about 10 feet total.
10 feet high. Where
Yeah.
has there been any suggestion of where this might go?
Yes, certainly the group wanted it to be a prominent location, on the school grounds. We were concerned about, if it, well, we have several concerns. It's liability and safety, maintenance and repair. Should there be vandalism? Precedents, that this may set with other schools. and aesthetics. I'll come back to aesthetics in a second. And so the location, certainly, if it was, we didn't want it to be in an area that might be vandalized. And again, the vandalism is a concern, because then we have to somehow repair it, and then are we even capable of repairing it? And then that goes down a whole nother, road, another path on that. So we're going through this process. We're evaluating whether this is something that we want to pursue. Again, we recognize that it's a great intention, from the group. One of the things I mentioned was aesthetics, and so it's abstract art. And abstract art is certainly up to interpretation. We know, since we're a public body, we're dealing with public perception and interpretations all the time, and we try to guard ourselves from any negative opportunities. So it's abstract art. Some people are not going to like it, and that's kind of part of the deal. So we just need to go down that path and see what we come
I
up
think
with.
I would add too that we met with the representatives yesterday. So Dave and I are used to dealing not in the abstract but in the concrete. So we are not comfortable yet about the structure and what's proposed. The renderings are there, but as the process begins, if it is constructed and put on campus, we would need to know what it's going to be constructed of. We had some concerns yesterday. You can see the fingers as they are shown. We feel like there may be some opportunities for kids to get on there and play. The leaves, as they are shown again, protrude from the fingers. Which
They're
could be
metal, right?
And they're metal. It could be something somebody could get cut on. So as we left the meeting, we told them that we would need something more concrete to review and look at before we move forward. We're just not there yet.
Okay.
Does Indian Trail, don't they have at their former facility where they used to hold their town meetings and arts program or something near
Like
the
a
railroad?
museum or something like that right there, the historic. Yeah, they have a park too. I echo your concerns.
Do we have any memorializations of principals at any of our other 53 schools?
Benches, right? Mostly benches, I've seen. We have benches.
For principals.
And I think there was one discussion.
I've seen two places that have,
And I think that there
benches.
was one that we,
Was that
Western Union.
So I know that we have those kind of rooms. I don't know of any sculptural.
Uh-huh.
I mean, but the concern too is the ongoing maintenance of stuff like this. We talk about this when it comes to groups that want to come onto the school and do projects on our school grounds. And it always brings up, well, who's going to maintain that? What's going to happen at the end of the day?
So
And that always worries me too.
we looked at some other things that the particular artist had done and quickly identified some issues had those pieces been on a school campus. And so we have that same concern
Right.
with this as well. So we'll vet it out pretty thoroughly and
It seems to me it could become like a climbing instrument for
Elastic
kids, which,
climbing,
yeah.
Throwing footballs, baseballs at it. Yeah.
When it says waving hand, does it move? Does the hand move?
I understand that the finger, the leaves, I think, are
no, so great question. So as it was explained to me yesterday, as you drive by or maybe walk by, but it would have to be at some distance, you get the impression that the hand would change. And
Okay.
you kind of get the impression that it's waving.
Oh,
at you.
okay. But
Like
it
an
does,
optical.
No, it does not move.
it does not move.
Right,
Okay.
it does not move.
I definitely think this could be a challenge to be on school property. But I am curious that right up the road, I believe, is an arts council. And if this is to remember his involvement in history and arts of Indian Trail. They've got a beautiful new government center and I believe an arts building that maybe having an art piece might be safer than an elementary school.
And one particular item on the sculpture is a rail. It's a railroad rail. And that was.
Oh, it's not an I-beam?
No, it looks like
it's a
an I-beam, but
railroad.
it is
Okay.
a railroad rail.
Okay.
And so to your point of it being maybe at the old town
Mhm.
buildings, which is right in front of the railroad
There's an arts
tracks.
council there.
There is, there's the museum thing on the corner.
Okay.
But that was the artist was connecting,
Mhm.
the school and the town to the railroad because the railroad goes right through the town and is a integral part.
We asked the same question. That is not to scale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I assumed it was an I-beam or
We
something.
did too,
Okay.
but we were told it would in actuality be a piece of a railroad track, which is about 4 inches wide.
Significantly smaller.
So our next set of questions were, how do you connect this
Mhm.
to that 4 inch wide beam?
Right.
We've got a lot of questions.
Okay.
I could just see some
Okay,
kicking
let's
to
move.
death on this thing.
Can we move on? Moving along. Instruction update.
CIP items, we have 18 of the elementary school A-phones installations complete. And 10 others will be completing very soon. No payments have been made yet on this contract. Benton Heights Elementary School Auditorium, finishing touches are underway. School plans to hold an event in the new auditorium December 12th. We don't see that as a problem because we're expecting the certificate of occupancy really any day now. We're hoping tomorrow, Monday, certainly next week. Contractor's been paid $4.03 million out of the $4.3 million project, or 94%. Indian Trail HVAC, a lot of sequencing and schedule information, on the sheet. So I won't go into all of that. But that project is going to be going through next summer. It's a $1.74 million contract. It's underway, but we haven't received any applications as of the time that I wrote this. Fairview Elementary School HVAC controls upgrades. That project's 95% complete. It was a $128,000 project. Not on this sheet, but just a couple other projects. Windows at East Elementary School. That's 50% paid out. There's 102 windows that we're replacing. And Parkwood High School, that project's approximately 45% paid out. Window replacements, and there's 38 windows that we're replacing there. Overall, on the 2018-19 CIP status, 11% of the projects are complete, 26% are under construction, 4% are in the bid phase. The rest are either in design or haven't started yet. Bond projects, as we noted with the transportation project earlier in the meeting, all bond projects have been bid now. And the only other, information for transportation is that we've got our meetings December 4th with the City of Monroe with our applications for zoning, which is the conditional district and the annexation. Piedmont High School addition and renovations. This project scope of work is on schedule and should be completed in early December. This contract is approximately 81% paid out. We do plan a change order, and that's to change out a door and door frame and replace it with 2 exterior doors.
Where? I missed that. Where?
That's at Piedmont High School. But we got some nice pictures of the auditorium and science classrooms.
Does the auditorium, the stage, does it get new curtains and everything? Or
It does, yes.
oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Looks incredible.
And Monroe High School additions, renovations. New classroom wing foundation walls are mostly complete. Brick veneer and window frames are installed at the new portion of the auditorium. We're calling that the annex. And in the auditorium itself, the installation of the acoustical clouds are up. We've got a nice picture of that. And the lighting's almost complete. We're looking at, for the auditorium, of about a February 15th completion date on that. This project is approximately 26% complete. Sun Valley High School additions and renovations. The construction fencing is still going up. The construction trailer is installed. Electricity isn't there yet. The erosion control efforts are underway. And for the most part, you have to get the erosion control set up before you can really do much of anything else. So that effort's underway. They probably will complete erosion control perhaps next week.
When is the recycling center going to be moved?
We'll talk again with the county. We aren't anticipating that it's going to be relocated in the month of December or January, but we'll find out from them if it's February or March or whatever it is.
Okay.
But the county is actively developing their other site, though.
Okay.
Porter Ridge High School, Porter Ridge Middle School, still in the demolition phase there, and relocating utilities.
So that got pushed back because of the rain?
Certainly the rain, it's at a very bad time for construction. I think I noted in there that we had every 10 inches of rain for that period of time, which I think was about a 5-week period of time.
Okay.
And that certainly does hamper that effort. Western Union Elementary School additions, renovations, canopy installation. We're anticipating that to occur in December. Hopefully that will be in place by the time students come back from Christmas break.
When do you think everything will be done at Western Union?
The connector building will be completing in the month of January.
Okay.
And on Western Union, I don't want to say it will be complete, because we are still looking at some additional items like some furniture and things like
Okay.
that we may be able to help them with.
Okay. Thanks for that update.
Did the fencing, those louver panel things ever arrive at the front of the building?
Not yet.
Okay.
So two things. That's number one, it's a long lead item. Number two, with the submittal process, it's been going back and forth. I don't believe that it is finalized yet. So it's still in the submittal phase.
Submittal where? What does that mean?
I thought we were in the waiting for it to arrive phase.
We are waiting. Yes.
So submittal as in we haven't purchased it or ordered it yet?
So that would all be on the contractor, and it's between contractor and consultant. There was a change with the arrangement of the fencing at the courtyard. So there's a electrical generator. Is it generator or? But we had to accommodate some equipment. Had to have clearances for it. So that caused the configuration to change. There was some back and forth with the utility about how much space they needed and gates and things like that. That I believe has been resolved. And so then the contractors now had submitted.
How does that affect what I'm asking about at the front of the building?
So at the front is the mechanical courtyard,
Okay.
and that is where the louvers are, and that is where the electrical equipment conflict was.
Okay.
And that's where the fencing arrangement had to be reworked.
Because the fencing was around the left, wasn't it, of the building?
The one he's talking about is when you're facing the school to the right, the mechanical school.
Yeah, I know, and that's what
Okay.
I'm asking about, but you're talking about the fencing and everything that went down the left.
I'm just talking about the louvers.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a whole system that is at and containing the mechanical courtyard.
Okay.
So it's hiding the mechanical
Because I
courtyard.
thought we had originally been told that it was going to arrive around September, October.
We knew it was a long lead item. We didn't anticipate the conflicts, and those had to be worked out. I will tell you that it took longer than it should have, to work that out.
Okay. So as of this conversation, we have no idea when that will happen.
I
It's
understand.
Really up in the air.
Well, I'd say I understand that it's in the final stages of the submittal process, and then it will be ordered and received. I don't know if we have a date on how long that lead item is, but I would be guessing, well, I don't want to guess.
Yeah.
I don't want to guess.
Okay. It sounds very questionable.
Can you reach out to the contractor or whoever it is on the consultant and try to get some firmer
We
answers?
actually have been, and as recently as yesterday, there was correspondence on this. I think it's in the final phase of the submittal approval. And once the consultant releases it, then the contractor will be able to make that order.
I would just ask you to maybe shoot this committee an email by end
Sure.
of the week with some kind of an update on the timeline.
Okay. Thank you.
Next thing is a change order log. I don't have a copy of it.
It's not in your
I
package?
printed my stuff earlier.
Oh.
Sorry. Thank you.
The change orders on the update are Benton Heights Elementary School. It's a CIP project. It's the auditorium project. And we have changed the wireless access points, and that's a $2,000 add. Revised electrical connections to the water heater and recirculation pumps, $1,600, and revised the hardware at $1,471. And that change order had an add of 26 days. That was for asbestos abatement, underground storage tank, and weather. The funding for this came from the 14-15 CIP. There was just a small amount of money remaining there, and this exhausted those funds.
Question real fast too, on like the change wireless access points. Are we consulting with Jay on new projects about where access points should
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This was we had provided direction to the consultants on the type and for the contractor to provide in the project and the specifications. That didn't carry over into the specifications. And so a different wireless access point manufacturer product was provided. So we're saying, no, we need the one that we told you to begin with. And we're working with the consultant, on that charge.
Okay, surplus materials.
We have the attached list for items to be auctioned on govdeals.com. And typically the items are in poor condition, not functioning, obsolete, or not usable for their intended purpose. Now we've got items from child nutrition and several items from facilities. I can go into the detail if you wish.
Thank you. The building zoning permit was just for our information, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions on anything in the open session stuff? Need a motion to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS 318-11A5 concerning the acquisition of real property.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.